Over the past month or so, we've seen quite a bit of information about LEGO Star Wars Summer 2025 sets continue to drip out. I've made some little videos here or there, but I felt like it's time to compile all of the current leaks and rumors into one convenient video for y'all. So if you're hyped for it, hit the like button. And yeah, there's a ton of info out there. We know almost every set for 2025. There's potentially a couple more out there. We're pretty close to having a full picture for 2025. So on April 1st, we'll be getting that Rise of Skywalker Palpatine minifig included with the character encyclopedia, and that brings us to the May 1st release date where all of the rumors began. The first thing is something that I haven't even talked about yet. It's a very recent leak. It's of the Brickhead set for May of this year, and I'm praying that there's more than this, but as of now, set 40795 is going to be the Luke Skywalker Pilot Brickheads. $10, 148 pieces. It is something that over the years, given their affinity for Luke Skywalker Pilot minifigs, and they have the pilot helmet as well, like it makes sense that they would make this as a Brickheads, but I feel like a lot of us were hoping that when a Brickhead set got leaked, it would be in conjunction with Revenge of the Sith, because if you guys recall, over the last couple of years, we had the Return of the Jedi Brickheads in 2023 for that anniversary, and then last year we had the Phantom Menace Brickheads for its anniversary. And when you look at that, I recorded this video about a month ago, and between then and now, a new rumor has dropped for the 40796 Star Wars Brickhead set with 656 pieces. This should be a new multi-pack, and we can kind of make a strong inference that it should be Revenge of the Sith based. And just given the piece count, I'm gonna guess 5 characters for $50 here. Let me know what you want to see for this set in the comments section below. Hopefully more info soon. Our next rumor is the 75399 U-Wing with 594 pieces for $70, and there actually has been a picture revealed of this one thanks to a retailer, but just in case LEGO starts overreaching the boundaries, I'm not going to show the picture in this video. I've got a separate video on my channel of the U-Wing itself, but it does include 4 figures with Dedra, Andor, K2SO, and then another Imperial minifig, and the initial reaction from myself and many fans is certainly less than favorable towards this U-Wing, so it looks like that 2016 U-Wing is going to reign supreme. Next up, we're getting a couple of Kylo Ren related sets, assumedly in conjunction with the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens, as we'll see set 75406 be the midi-scale Kylo Ren shuttle, and I want to say this set was originally rumored to be $50 with 386 pieces. That rumor has since changed, and it's now rumored to be $70 with 386 pieces. So I am stoked to see this one get revealed and see how big it is, because if it is as small as you would imagine a midi-scale Kylo Ren shuttle to be, this is going to be an absolute scam at $70. But yeah, gotta wait and see. You know, you can't base everything off the piece count and the price until you actually see the physical model, because if it uses a bunch of large pieces, then that's a bit different than using a bunch of small pieces. The other Force Awakens set is also Kylo Ren related with set 75415, the Kylo Ren's helmet. I assume this will be the normal version of Kylo Ren's helmet and not the re-welded together version of the helmet, but this one is supposed to be $60 with 529 pieces, and that's a price point that kind of surprises me. I thought the new floor for helmets would certainly be $70, but if this one comes out at $60, 529 pieces, I think it may end up being a very fair value, but a nice combo, I would say, of Force Awakens Kylo Ren themed sets. It will probably just come down to whether or not they're worth the money, especially that Kylo Ren shuttle at $70. Set 75407 is still rumored to be a buildable Star Wars logo, coming in at $60 with 700 pieces, so nice price per piece, but it's not rumored to have any minifigs or anything. I had talked a little bit about in previous rumor videos that I would love to have seen a George Lucas figure from this set, but that's not happening. We do seem to be getting one Star Wars Rebels / Ahsoka base set with set 75416, the buildable chopper. Definitely an exciting one to pair with the R2-D2 that we got last year, and this one is supposed to be $100 with 1,039 pieces, and I think we can fairly obviously assume that the one minifig in this set is going to be the Chopper astromech droid. So pretty straightforward there. I definitely expect there to be some functionality built into the head and maybe some features in the torso, but yeah, definitely going to be a very fun buildable character with Chopper there. Now getting into the final 3 things, and frankly the bread and butter of what's going to be releasing on May 1st, we have set 75408, the Jango Fett helmet. Much more exciting maybe than Kylo Ren, because it will round out the Boba Fett, Mandalorian, and now Jango Fett trio. A trio that I frankly thought we would never see come together. I just thought they would never even touch it, so it's really cool to be finally getting the Jango Fett helmet, but it's supposed to be $70 with 616 pieces. Not a lot else to talk about with that one though, but what we have had a lot of new info on since the last big rumor video is set 75409, the UCS Jango Fett Slave 1, and the original rumors on this were that it was maybe going to be $240, and then there was some talk about it maybe being a $300 set, but what has materialized in the past month or so is that this is indeed going to to be a $300 UCS set with 2,970 pieces. So that piece count certainly meets the price, at least in your imagination, for what you would want out of it. And the actual size of the build is more or less confirmed to be the same as the original UCS Slave 1 from 2015. So if you remember that one from 2015, it was $200 flat and 1,996 pieces. And so you're seeing about 1,000 more pieces for $100 more dollars, but the size of the ship should stay the same. And how do we know that? Well, the part that is going to be the actual windscreen piece on the UCS Django Slave 1 has leaked due to some type of filing with the European something or another. And basically, we just have a sketch of the piece, and you can figure out how big it is. And usually when LEGO designs a set like this, and you can also apply this to many of their other starfighters and ships like that, they'll base a lot of the scaling of something around how big the windscreen piece they have is. And so with that Slave 1 from 2015, it was effectively a 1-to-1 minifig scale set. You're never really going to get exactly 1-to-1, but it was one of those rare sets that was pretty much as close as you can get, and so we certainly didn't want to see the size of this Jango Fett Slave 1 change, in my opinion, and so having it more or less confirmed that it will be the same size, given that the cockpit piece is the same size, is a really great thing. I'm hoping that 1,000 extra pieces is going to good use, though. I'm hoping that it's going to mean that there's going to be more interior functionality, and maybe something like a seismic charge drop ability to come out the back of the Slave 1. Part of me would have been quite okay with a straight up recolor of that 2015 version, but they have clearly, at least given the piece count, given it quite a bit more here. So, I mean, we'll see what that actually translates to as far as the final model, but my hopes are very high, and the light just changed again. Now, minifigure-wise, we're still looking at a Jango Fett with an arm print. I would expect it to look largely the same as the previous Jango Fett minifigure. However, of course, just adding on an arm print. And then the young Boba Fett, I cannot imagine would be significantly different at all from the version that we saw in 2017. Now, surprisingly, that is not all for Jango Fett in 2025. And so when we get to the August 1st stuff, we have a little bit more on that. But that's it for the UCS Slave 1. The Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you promo this year is set number 40765, and we've seen LEGO kind of get back to what made May 4th great in recent years, and this set is supposedly going to take that to another level, including 3 minifigs with 190 pieces. Now, if it's 3 unique exclusive figures, this is gonna go crazy hard. The best idea I've seen out there tying in with Revenge of the Sith would be something to do with Palpatine in the Senate here. That would be a dope set with those 3 figures. A lot of other people are hoping that this will tie into the Jango Fett sub-theming with maybe a Jango Fett's apartment or something else from Attack of the Clones. And of course, there's everything else from the Star Wars universe. So right now, all the info we truly have is 3 minifigs, 190 pieces, which on its face sounds great. Now, the dumbest wave of the year is coming out on June 1st, and I fundamentally don't understand why we have a June 1st LEGO Star Wars wave. These sets should all be released on January 1st. It's 3 very small sets, and they aren't bad sets. It's not a dumb wave because they're bad. It's like you just released 9 sets on May 1st. You got 10 sets coming on August 1st. But yeah, sure, let's release 3 little sets on June 1st just cuz. I would love to hear the rationale for it. Anyway, set 75400, we've talked about this before, but it was originally going to be the Plo Koon Starfighter to match up with that ARC 170, but it turned out that information was incomplete, and the Plo Koon Starfighter effectively got downgraded to a microfighter, and it's one of the saddest missed opportunities in recent LEGO Star Wars history to have a full-size Plo Koon Starfighter next to an ARC 170 once more, and in the Revenge of the Sith year, man. Like, what a actual ball drop from LEGO. But it's, of course, going to include a Plo Koon minifig. At this point, there's no rumored astromech droid or second figure. You know, the astromech droid would be the reasonable expectation to have with the Plo Koon Starfighter there, but that's not rumored at all. So as of now, it's just rumored to be the Plo Koon figure. There's no info on whether or not it will be a new head mold for Plo Koon either. I've seen some discussion of people desiring that. Personally, I don't really care if they do that or not. Like, I think the original Plo Koon is just fine, but if they do that, certainly wouldn't be a bad thing as long as the new mold is better. Now, I didn't really mention the price on this one yet because it is what I find most interesting about this set. LEGO has kind of set the standard over the past couple of years that if a microfighter is just the standard standalone microfighter, it's going to cost $13 because they recently had a price hike. They forever were $10 each, and now if you just get a single microfighter, it's $13. But the N1 Starfighter with Grogu costs $16. So why was that one more expensive? Well, it's because it had the extra Grogu figures, so that's how they rationalized it, even though like it's two little pieces. How is it worth $3? Now, it turns out the rumored price for Plo Koon's microfighter is $15. Not 13, not 16, but very oddly in the middle somewhere at 15. So at the standards LEGO has set for the microfighter, it's not expensive enough to contain two figures, unless of course LEGO has had a change of heart and wants to save everyone a little bit of money here, which I think we can all see is probably not going to be the case. What I think is more likely are the first two options. One, they have just increased the price $2 more on the baseline microfighter because screw the customer, that's why. And that wouldn't shock me. We've seen LEGO Star Wars doing this. They've just been increasing prices, but microfighters were $10 for nearly a decade. They only recently went up in price, and to see another price bump would be crazy, but I wouldn't put it past them. I think the most likely thing that's happened here is they actually might be making a new mold for Plo Koon's head, and they need to charge $2 more to make it worth the money that they have invested for that head. That is the only rationale I can see behind it. Otherwise, they're just increasing the price to increase the price and screw the customer. Now, there is a precedent for a microfighter with not only a new mold, but a mold that forever has stayed unique in the U-Wing microfighter with its pilot. So that had a nice, really nice, one of the best molds that LEGO Star Wars has ever done for a helmet, and they didn't charge anything extra for that set. So if they're charging more for Plo Koon here, even if it is a new mold, right? They've set the precedent that that shouldn't cost anything extra in a microfighter with a very complex, well-decorated piece. I just don't see how they can rationalize this price increase here unless it includes two figures. But as we saw, the two-figure price is 16, not 15, and there's no way they're coming down on price. So it's a big, confusing one to me, and I'm very excited to find out the answer by June 1st. We'll see, but the price certainly strikes me as odd on this set. Now, next up, we have 75411, the rumored Darth Maul mech, also going to be $16 with 143 pieces. I can't remember for sure, but I think this one was rumored to include another new Darth Maul minifig, so a nice new variant, except he probably won't have pupils again, which means he's gonna look like crap again, and yeah, we're back at square one. Every Darth Maul sucks every time now. The final June 1st set, and the one that I'm kind of most excited for, is the 75411 Night Trooper Battle Pack. It's gonna include 2 Night Troopers and 2 Death Troopers from Ahsoka Season 1, and I'm pretty hyped for that. I originally was rumored to include Captain Enoch, and I'm very glad that it no longer does. Just not a fan of named characters in battle packs for the obvious reason that I don't want to army build a named character. So not having that is great. Hopefully the Night Troopers are variants and not the same as what we saw from the Peridia set. And of course the Death Troopers, hopefully again. I hope that you just get 2 different ones and not 2 of the same ones. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with that. But could be a very great, weird battle pack for summer of 2025 there. And the build in it sounds quite promising with a, very small version of an Imperial Police gunship. That's the June 1st wave there, little mini wave. I still think all of those sets should have come out January 1st though. Moving on, everything for August 1st. Quite a bit here and some stuff that you might not have heard about yet, but starting out with a banger, set 75413, the UT-80. This is the set that I think I'm most excited for and definitely most ready to be let down by. It's rumored to be $150 with 813 pieces, and I don't think we have any concrete minifig info out there yet, but the UT-80 is very specifically from one scene in Revenge of the Sith. It's never been seen elsewhere in Star Wars media. I mean, maybe in comics, but I ain't reading all that. But as far as movies and shows, the UT-80 is from one scene in Order 66, and so this set has to include Ki-Adi-Mundi, it has to include Commander Bakara, and it has to include Galactic Marines, and maybe some battle droids or whatever to go against it, but at the very least, you gotta expect those 3 characters to show up, and certainly Galactic Marines in multiples. And unfortunately, again, like I said, I'm ready to be let down by this. Will we get physical wastegapes finally back in summer of 2025 or not? Because LEGO Dreams has them, LEGO Marvel sets still have them, and yet the LEGO Star Wars designers are out there saying, yeah, we just decided they shouldn't have wastegapes just because we want the minifig to sit down. Guess what the figures can do even if they have a wastecape on? Sit down. Guess what kids can do if they don't want it? Leave it off. And so it's fairly unanimous in the LEGO Star Wars community that people want wastegapes back on their clone troopers, and yet, we haven't heard anything. They don't communicate with the community. I'm a little worried about that, but yeah, UT-80, very exciting that they're finally making it, but scary that it's being made in an era where there is no care given to the quality of clone troopers. So We'll see. Set 75414 was what you may have seen some buzz about, being a $50 clone turbo tank. Pretty strong rumor out there now is that it's definitely not a $50 clone turbo tank. That just doesn't exist, but it is still a $50 set with 349 pieces, but it's going to be from Rebuild the Galaxy. Not sure if it's Season 1 or Season 2. Minifig wise, we're looking at Sig Griebling, Dev, and a Duros, who some people have speculated might be a good version of Cad Bane or something because it's his species, but at the end of the day, yeah, we don't know much else about this. I don't know what the ship or vehicle or scenery bit will be. Like, we just know it's going to be from Rebuild the Galaxy based on the characters there. So 75417 is another set that I'm very excited for in the rumored UCS, or probably just labeled 18 plus, but basically a UCS set, ATST. It's supposed to be $200 with 1,513 pieces, and we haven't had a UCS ATST since 2006. So I'm pumped to see a modern take on a build like this, and frankly, I think the old one holds up fairly well, but like, I just think they could do so much better now. I'm very curious to see how this one pans out. Minifigure wise, there's nothing rumored, which makes me think there probably isn't going to be anything. But if we do get anything, you can of course expect an ATST driver, maybe a Chewbacca included, of course, given the scene. So I don't expect a lot there, but it'd be nice to at least get the driver, right? Set 75428 is a very recent rumor with the buildable B1 battle droid, so it'll pair very nicely with that Droideka from 2024. It's supposed to be $100, and at this point, I don't have a piece count for you. And I can also just assume that it's going to include a B1 Battle Droid figure as the minifig in the set. Set 75430 is next, and that's going to be the buildable Ewok. Yeah, a lot of buildable characters this year. It's going to be $90 with 1,010 pieces and an Ewok minifigure. I think it will probably end up being Wicket. I'm not, I can't imagine they would do another Ewok, but, there are other options out there. Certainly, I just think Wicket is probably the best one. 75431 is rumored to be the 327th Battle Pack, and some people were hoping Bly would be included in this set. He's not going to be in this set. He is going to be in another set we'll discuss in a minute, but this one is supposed to include 4 327th Troopers and 3 B2 Super Battle Droids for a price of $40 with 258 pieces. Build-wise, you're looking at an ATRT and Spider Droid. I think as far as making a set based on Felucia, replacing that ATRT with a Swamp Speeder in the Republic colors probably would have been better, but still a very exciting set as far as a Clone Trooper Battle Pack goes, except for the fact that we are once again in the great year of 2025, in an era where LEGO Star Wars doesn't care about the quality of clone troopers. Do you really think these clones are going to be good? Because the answer is no. So, yeah, and $40, $40 for a battle pack. We technically have seen it. They made a $40 battle pack last year with the Dropship and Rebel Trooper battle pack. And yeah, they have done it, I guess. But man, you're getting 4 clones for $40. That's $10 a clone in an officially released LEGO battle pack. Like, historically, battle packs were 10, 15, and now $20. You get your 4 figs, right? And you're still getting those same 4 figs you want. Now you got to pay $40. It's crazy how LEGO has found a way to double the price of army building. They did it with the 501st battle pack, so I'm not surprised. But like, yeah, they are once again showing how shrewd they are in the business, right? So set 75432 here, going to be a very cool one with the V19 Torrent. Dude, I'm worried about this one obviously being downsized, but there's a lot of potential here. I think the functionality of the set is also going to be super important. Like, how does the mechanism work for the wing system? Because in the original set in 2008, it was really dope. It had some really cool pieces that might not exist anymore in LEGO, but for the time it was amazing. I'm just curious what a modern take on a V19 Torrent is going to end up looking like. But again, $60, 567 pieces, and minifig wise, also quite a banger. It's supposed to include an Obi-Wan Kenobi and an Asajj Ventress. Definitely going to be great figures, certainly very hyped for them. And then the one that I'm very wishy-washy on, as always, is going to be this Phase 1 Clone Pilot. This is a figure that we should have had way back in 2021. It's finally coming out here. It's been a long wait, a lot of drama with this in particular, so you expect them to make something good here, but will they? Right? Will the helmet print actually look good? I don't think so, but maybe, but I don't think so. Moving along, perhaps the most unexpected set of the August wave, in a wave that has a UT-AT, right? But because we already had the rumor of a UCS Slave 1, I think people wouldn't have expected a smaller Slave 1. Well, set 75433 is supposed to be a Jango Fett Slave 1 coming in at $70 with 707 pieces. So incredibly a great price per piece. But the last Slave 1 also had a really good price per piece. It was $50 with 500 and some pieces. So not too bad there either back in 2021. But this one is supposed to include Jango Fett, Boba Fett, and a Kaminoan. And the rumors did not specify that this Kaminoan is going to be Taun We. So that leads me to believe that hopefully it's a different Kaminoan than we have had, because we've obviously had one Kaminoan. It would just be lame to me if you double up on the same Kaminoan. Let's make something fresh. Let's make something new that we haven't had before. I feel like Lama Su would be the most obvious choice here. But the other breadcrumb that I felt like I picked up on, and it could be nothing, because this could just be someone listing the figures as they are, right? But Jango Fett was not specified to be the same as the Jango Fett from the UCS set. And if you recall earlier in the video, the Jango Fett in the UCS Slave 1 is supposed to have arm printing, and the figure in the smaller set doesn't have that, maybe? At least that's not what the leaks say specifically, right? This is why being specific is very important, but if you recall back to when there were rumors of Captain Rex's Y-Wing coming out following the UCS Venator, it was very specific that the Captain Rex in that Y-Wing would be the same as the one in the UCS Venator, and we're just not seeing any reputable leakers out there, at least as of now. It can always change. Maybe me questioning it changes that, but we're not seeing anyone out there saying, hey, this is exactly the same. Yes, I saw it, and it was the same, you know? So maybe it's not the same. Maybe that Jango Fett in the UCS set will remain exclusive. I can't imagine there's any aspect of Boba Fett that you could change like that to make it exclusive, non-exclusive. So the Boba Fett I expect to be the same no matter what, the young Boba, but that Jango Fett very possibly in the smaller set will not have arm printing. I'm just trying to read between the lines, probably yapping too much. Moving on, set 75434, another buildable character. I think that's like 4 for this year. It's too dang many, honestly. K2SO though, $90 and a currently unknown piece count, and obviously the figure included is probably going to be K2SO. And then the final August 1st set, I've gone in set number order. You go from a banger in the UTAT to a banger in the 75435, Separatist MTT. Also $150 like that UTAT, but it's going to include 976 pieces. The figures have leaked. It's supposed to be Ayla Secura, who'd probably be a great figure. It's supposed to get 10 or so battle droids, which is exciting, but still not as many as I think I would like. I expect 8 of them to be regulars and maybe 2 pilots, probably what you're going to end up seeing as the split there. And then you're also getting, I assume, a Phase 2 Commander Bly, but I also assume the figure is going to be hot garbage because, yeah, I'm tired of explaining it. Have you seen Commander Bly's Phase 2 helmet in Universe? If you have any trust in LEGO to recreate that helmet with any ounce of accuracy or quality, then I've got a bridge to sell you. Figure-wise, I'm disappointed. I just don't think Ayla or Bly kind of belong here. I think it should have been some Separatist characters for a big Separatist set, right? What I would have done here is replace that Ayla and Bly with a Wat Tambor and a tactical droid. I feel like that's just a better fit for a Separatist Clone Wars style MTT, especially given their connection to the actual episode that the Separatist MTT is seen in here. So I'm just not really sure where the Ayla and Bly come from. Obviously to combo with that 327 set, sure, but really what I would have done is taken those figs and put them in the 327 set, remove 2 of the 327 troopers, so you get Ayla, Bly, 2 327 troopers, and then the droids, and then instead of all the like weird little builds there, I would have just done a large homing spider droid, which we do see on Felucia, and then you have just a full Felucia setup. I feel like that's what I would have done. Still would have ended up as a $40 or $50 set, but then you could also market it as like a true Revenge of the Sith Order 66 set, which would have been just phenomenal, but yeah, can't have that. As far as it being the Clone Wars style of MTT though, I am absolutely pumped about that. I think that's going to be really cool, and it's interesting. So we got that piece count finally, 976. The piece count of the last MTT from 2014 was 954, so you're looking at a few more pieces there, but maybe even more interestingly, the inflation on that 2014 MTT to now is about $120, and this new MTT is $150. So you gotta expect that this MTT is going to be using some larger pieces, that it is going to be larger than what we saw back in 2014. Finally, we got a few more sets left in the year. Moving on to September 1st, we have the Advent Calendar. It's going to be set number 75418, $45, 263 pieces. No info on the figs or builds or theming of it at this point. And then October 1st is when we'll be seeing what will probably be our final sets of the year with set 75419, the UCS Death Star, that $1,000 Death Star that I'm sure you've seen tons of talk about so far. There's still not a lot of information out there about the set other than the figure count kind of got leaked. Some of the reputable leakers out there are saying that it's going to have 40-ish minifigs. I don't know why 40-ish is the terminology they use, but they didn't use a specific number, just said 40-ish. If that turns out to be true, it will of course be the most minifigs in a LEGO Star Wars set ever, surpassing the previous Death Stars, which both included like 24 or 25 each. I do really wish we had more info on this Death Star though. I do plan on putting together a video talking about everything I expect and want out of it, but this is not going to be that video. And then of course we certainly can expect a gift with purchase to go alongside this Death Star, and of course you would be required to buy the Death Star to get that gift with purchase. A lot of people, myself included, are leaning towards it again being a lightsaber, as that is the trend that LEGO has set. Now there is potentially one other set that would come out on October 1st of 2025, and if you look at 2023 and 2024, we got these LEGO Store exclusive sets. So back in 23 we got the Millennium Falcon diorama, and 2024 we got the $40 Stormtrooper Rebel Trooper Battle Pack that included the Astromech droid. And so 2025, will it have another set like that? What will that set be? As of now, there are no rumors. There's not even like a leaked set number or anything like that, but the opportunity is definitely still out there. We are a long way away from possibly knowing for sure that nothing is coming out. And it's a little trend that LEGO has started over the past couple of years. Of course, nothing's a guarantee ever. Things can start and stop on a dime like that for LEGO, but 2 years in a row, I would certainly look for it to become 3 at the end of 2025. And then finally have a little note at the very end of this video that I wrote out. And the overall selection for LEGO Star Wars in 2025, and very specifically what we're seeing in the summer, is insane. Like, there's some really cool sets and things that I thought we would never see in LEGO Star Wars with that UTAT, with that Separatist MTT, right? But quality and execution is, of course, going to be more important than selection. And the analogy I came up with, and this has applied to many things that LEGO Star Wars has released in the past few years even, but certainly I look to apply it to what we'll see in summer of 2025. It's like, great, we got Kevin Garnett on our team, but it's Brooklyn Nets Kevin Garnett. We already saw this happen with the ARC 170, a set that took 15 years to get a new version of. And it's like, but it's the Celtics Shaq ARC 170. Man. Waited all that time, finally got Shaq on our team, and it's like, he ain't what he used to be, right? And so that's how I kind of feel some of these LEGO Star Wars sets and figures look to me or feel to me. And I don't know, I just felt like it was a good analogy that I came up with. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. Tons of rumors for LEGO Star Wars in 2025. I've given you all the information that I could find out there that's current and reputable about the upcoming sets, and looks like a pretty good year on paper, but what will it look like in plastic?